Welcome to your practice that is dedicated to honoring Lord Hanuman. Hanumanasana, or the front splits, is named after and honors Lord Hanuman. Lord Hanuman takes the form of a monkey, as he's famous for. Lord Hanuman is the son of the Wind God Vayu. Hanuman is the 11th, final, and greatest incarnation of Lord Shiva. Hanuman represents courage and strength. And I will be offering a mantra in our opening meditation that will invoke Lord Hanuman and will also invoke strength, courage to overcome all of the obstacles that arise in your life. Now, this flow is going to be a little bit unconventional in a sense that I will be offering powerful, high payoff vision drills towards the end of the practice as we arrive into Hanumanasana. Now, it's important that we bear in mind on which asanas are named after the great deities and the gods and goddesses of yoga. And Hanuman is a beloved figure, and I hope that you will honor him in any shape or form in your life. So we're going to get started in an easy, seated, comfortable position. Now, if you have 2 blocks, please prepare 2 blocks for your practice because all you'll be needing is a mat and your 2 blocks. Once you have everything prepared, I invite you to sit in your comfortable seat and close your eyes. Bring an awareness into the sensations of your foot arches, the sensations of your body. Sit up tall with a long spine from your sit bones all the way through the crown of your head. Begin to connect to the natural rhythm of your breath, to your practice, to your space. Allow your breath to be your first point of reference for our journey today. And allow your eyes to move freely in their sockets. And even if your eyes are closed, try to see what it's like for your eyes to move to the right, then to the left, then up towards the eyelids, and down towards the nose. Allow your eye movements to connect to your breath through the inhales, through the exhales. And just notice what's there for you today. And as we open into our practice, I offer you the Moola Mantra for Hanuman. Om Shree Hanumate Namah. Om Shree Hanumate Namah. I bow down to Lord Hanuman. Now, chanting this mantra to yourself or silently is said to invoke the courage and strength you'll need to overcome all of life's obstacles. Now, we will chant this mantra to ourselves, and we'll chant this mantra 9 times until it fades away like a whisper. So close your eyes if you haven't already. Om Shree Hanumate Namah. 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 Take a slow inhale through your nose, and on our exhale, we will chant an opening Om, the primordial sound of the universe, together. Inhale. Om. Blink your eyes open when you're ready. Go ahead and come into a tabletop shape. Wrists directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips, and just take 3 circles over to the right and 3 circles over to the left. We aren't going to be on our hands too much in this practice, but it's always good to warm up the wrists, especially if you are weight bearing in your practice. Maybe even come up onto the fingertips into these simple fingertip push-ups, maintaining that strong connection to your breath. And then whenever you're ready, tuck all 10 toes behind you. Think cow pose as you cruise back slowly through downward facing dog, pushing off through the arms. Go ahead and pedal out through your feet, especially if this is your first time moving today. Take these moments to get out of your head and into your body, noticing what's there for you. Notice what's calling for your attention today. And whenever you're ready, just settle into your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep your legs bent in your downward facing dog, hinging from the hips. Tailbone reaches up high towards the sky. Inhale, reach your right leg up high towards the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend your right leg. Draw these circles with your right hip, squeezing that right foot towards your right glute. Take 3 circles forward and 3 circles back. And then I want you to think circle over to step your right foot to the outside of right hand. Come into this low runner's lunge, shifting forward and back, getting movement into the hip flexors, staying strong in that back left heel. You could come up onto your fingertips, or you can use the blocks to help bring the ground closer towards you. The blocks are always wonderful in a practice. Shift forward and back, really digging through that right heel to bring you forward. And then shift your hips back into space. Pull your right foot towards your chest into modified pyramid pose. From here, I want you to bend your left leg and then bend your right leg, bypassing through that runner's lunge and modified pyramid pose. Really nice to get that movement into the hips. Then from this modified pyramid pose, bend through your right leg, lower your left knee down onto the earth. As it lands, backstroke your right arm to grab a hold of your left foot. Now I want you to kick that left foot into the right hand for twisted lizard lunge. Getting into the hamstrings and into the quads. Keep kicking that left foot towards your glutes. Then on your next inhale, release that left foot with control. Plant your right palm down. Cruise back, step your right foot to meet the left into downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg reaches up high towards the sky, three-legged dog. Bend your left leg. Draw those big circles forward for 3 times. And then draw them back 3 times. Then from center, look forward as you step that left foot to the outside of left hand into that low runner's lunge. I invite you to come up onto your fingertips or place the blocks underneath your palms just to bring the ground closer to you. Really digging through that right heel to pull you forward as you push through that right heel back. On your next exhale, fold, modified pyramid pose. Pull your left toes towards your face. Beautiful. Then bend through that right leg. Bend through that left leg, bypassing through runner's lunge and modified pyramid pose, just really getting into the hip flexors, into the hamstrings. Try to be free in your movement, setting your own rhythm. Then from here, lower your right knee down. As it lands, backstroke your left arm this time to catch hold of your right ankle or your right foot. Twisted lizard lunge. Go ahead and kick that right foot into your left palm. Focus on churning the collarbones towards the left. Focus on really activating the hamstrings. And then on your next exhale, release that right foot with control. Left palm plants down onto the earth. Left foot meets the right, downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And an exhale out. Inhale, right leg lifts up high towards the sky. Bend your right leg. Think spinal wave as you land your right foot to the outside of right thumb. Lower your left knee down. Hanuman is also known as Anjani, and this pose is called Anjaneyasana. So inhale to sweep your arms up high towards the sky. Really scissor in the inner thighs here for a moment. Then on your exhale, shift forward, 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 really getting into the extensors now of that left leg, of that left hip. Just breathe here for a moment. You could shift forward and back as well. And then from your Anjaneyasana, come into this low double bent leg lunge. Really work on creating these 90-90 degree shapes with both legs. Then I want you to tuck your left toes behind you, sweeping your arms up high towards the sky. Rise up into double bent leg lunge. Really focusing on leveling up through the hips, squaring the hip points forward. Now from here, I want you to circle with your hips, making sure that this movement isn't coming from your whole body. You really want to try your best to isolate this movement in your hips. And then draw a couple of circles the other direction. Just explore your body, have fun. And we are activating this area in your brain called your cerebellum, just by these simple, novel movements. Awesome work. Wherever you are, now I want you to straighten your right leg as you draw those hip circles. And then bend into it, and then straighten. Just creating your own rhythm here. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and lower your left knee down into this modified Anjaneyasana. Now from here, grab a hold of your blocks. And what's really nice coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits, is you can use your blocks to help support your hands. Extend your right leg out, and I want you to really focus on pulling your right toes towards your chest. You could come up onto the blocks, you could adjust the blocks as needed just to support your arms. Now I want you to imagine as if there are a pair of eyes on the balls of that right foot. And you're going to allow those eyes and the balls of your right foot to examine the room. So imagine those googly eyes looking to the left and looking to the right. Our hip mobility is directly impacted by our ankle mobility. So it's really important to work on ankle mobility when you're working on Hanumanasana. So taking our ankle into eversion, inversion, noticing what's there. And if there is an interesting side or an interesting sensation, I invite you to stay there and just feel it out. And keep looking around the room with those eyes. Beautiful. Now I want you to focus on internally rotating that right femur bone down. So imagine as if your big right toe wants to point down in the middle of the mat, and then external rotation. So teeter between moving that femur bone. Beautiful. Take a couple of moments exploring your body like this. Then return to center whenever you're ready. This is when the blocks are going to come in handy. We're going to focus on pulsing this right leg up towards our chest. Now, I don't want your whole chest to move back with you. I want you to really focus on keeping your chest over that right leg as best as you can. That's why the blocks are really good to help support your weight. Or if you don't need the blocks, you could always come onto your fingertips here. So take an inhale. We're going to pulse this right leg up 5 times. Be honest with yourself. I want you to begin to engage that right glute. Lift it up. It's not going to go very high for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that right foot down. Beautiful work. This time we're going to lift that right leg up and hold it for the count of 6 seconds. You ready? Take an inhale to prepare. On your exhale, give me maximum effort for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your right foot down. Beautiful work. Nice job. From here, bend through that right leg, plant your hands down, step back into downward facing dog. Notice how different your right hip feels compared to your left. Inhale, your left leg reaches up high towards the sky. Bend your left leg. Think spinal wave forward to step your left foot to the outside of left thumb. Lower your right knee down. Coming up into that modified Anjaneyasana. Really focus on scissoring in the inner thighs together, leveling up through the hips. And then pulse forward and back if you wish. Really nice way to get into the hip flexors. Try to notice what your pelvis is doing in space. Then on your next breath in, sweep your arms up towards the sky. Find your Anjaneyasana, squeezing your glutes. Allow your eyes to look up into the eyelids. On your exhale, come out of it, back into that 90-90 low double bent leg lunge. Tuck all right toes behind you as we float that right knee up, creating this 90-90 degree shape with the legs, squaring the hips forward. I want you to draw those circles with the hips, making sure your whole body doesn't move with the hips. Try to really isolate this movement into the hips. And of course, explore different directions, getting into the cerebellum with these novel movements. And then feel free to straighten that left leg as you circle, and then bend through that right leg. And bend through that left leg and straighten the left leg. Just teeter between these movements, really building up the heat in the body. And whenever you're ready, lower your right knee down. Beautiful. Shift your hips back into space as you flex your left foot towards your face. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Option to use the blocks to help support you in your journey. You know exactly where we're going. So I want you to imagine as if the balls of that left foot have a pair of eyes, and you're allowing the eyes of that left foot to investigate and examine the room you're in. So taking that left ankle into different movements of eversion, inversion. Be exploratory here. We hardly spend any time or awareness strengthening and working on the mobility of our ankles when our ankle mobility directly impacts our hip mobility. Beautiful. And I invite you to stay in one area that seems interesting to you. Lean into that sensation. And we're all going to be very different in our ankles, in our own unique physical bodies. Beautiful. From there, I want you to teeter between internally rotating that left femur bone down and then taking it into external rotation. Make sure that this movement is coming directly from that left femur bone into the hip socket. It's very tempting to let the feet do the movement. Beautiful. Now, come onto your blocks. You could adjust the blocks at any height you wish. Take an inhale to prepare. We're going to pulse this left leg up. Make sure that your back doesn't go towards the back of the mat. Make sure that you're really rounding out through the shoulders as you pulse this left leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, beautiful work. Take a breath. We're going to pulse this leg, hold it up for 6 seconds, maximum effort. Are you ready? Take an inhale here. On your exhale, hold it up for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that left foot down. Set your blocks off to the side. Bend in through that left leg, plant your palms. Left foot meets right, downward facing dog. Beautiful, beautiful work. Notice how different your hips feel in your downward facing dog. Shift your gaze forward and tiptoe your way towards the very top of the mat. Feet will land in Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend your legs in your forward fold. Maintaining this nice connection between the belly and the thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold, hinge from your hips. Inhale, rise up to stand in your Tadasana. Take an inhale. Be strong and solitary like the mountain in your Tadasana. And Lord Hanuman is the greatest of heroes, the greatest of devotees to his Lord Rama. On your next inhale, bring your left knee up high towards the chest. Interlace your hands underneath your left hamstring. Try to level up and square off through the hips. And we're going to kick this left leg in front of us for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. From here, bring that left leg back. Bring your hands up to shoulder height. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, kick everything forward. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Left foot finds a home at the very back of the mat. Focus on your balance. Left knee lands. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Anjaneyasana. From Anjaneyasana, shift your hips back into space into Ardha Hanumanasana. You could use your hands or no hands. Really focus on bringing those right toes towards your face. Then we're going to shift forward into Anjaneyasana. I want you to focus on really working on the mobility and range of that right ankle. Then shift back into Ardha Hanumanasana. 2 more rounds just like this. Setting your own rhythm, setting your own pace. Then meeting in Ardha Hanumanasana, shift your weight forward. You could use your fingertips here or float your hands up as you find your extended pyramid pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up high towards the sky, high crescent lunge. Really focus on kicking back through that left heel. Then from here, I want you to straighten that right leg as you bend through that left leg. Maybe even cactus opening up the arms to help you with your balance. Inhale, sweep up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, fold, pyramid pose. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus, open up through your arms as you straighten that right leg. Bend through that left leg. Inhale, high crescent lunge. From here, hands meet at heart center as you bypass through warrior 3 to take you back into that one-legged Tadasana. Left foot meets the right. Beautiful, beautiful work. Inhale, right knee into the chest. Interlace your hands underneath that right leg. Kick that right leg in front of you for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Bring it back to center. Hands and shoulders. Take an inhale. On your exhale, kick everything forward. Inhale, drop back in. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Right foot finds a home at the very back of the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, fold, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Now I want you to focus on the mobility and range of that left ankle, challenging your range here. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Meeting in that Ardha Hanumanasana, focusing on the fold. Bend through that left leg as you send your hips back into extended pyramid pose. Hands or no hands. Inhale, bend through that left leg, sweep your arms up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus, open up through your arms as you straighten that left leg. Keep bending that right leg, focus on your balance. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, fold, pyramid pose. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus, open up through the arms as you straighten your left leg. Inhale, bend back in, sweep your arms up, high crescent lunge. Hands meet at heart center as you shift your weight forward into warrior 3. Come up into that one-legged Tadasana, right knee into chest. Right foot meets the left. Beautiful, beautiful work. We're going to flow through that exact same sequence 2 more times. Just really warm up our hips, our hamstrings, and our ankles before our first Hanumanasana. Take an inhale into your one-legged Tadasana, hands at shoulders. Exhale, push everything out. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hinge from your hips, lower down into your Anjaneyasana. Inhale, picking up the pace here. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Bend through that right leg as you fold into pyramid pose. Exhale. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus open. Begin to straighten that right leg as you bend through that left leg. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Hands meet at heart center as you bypass through warrior 3 into one-legged Tadasana, left knee into chest. Lower your left foot down to meet the right. Beautiful. Inhale, right knee into the chest, hands at shoulders. Exhale, kick everything out. Inhale, draw it back in. Exhale, hinging from your hips. Lower down into Anjaneyasana. Sweep your arms up high towards the sky. Challenge the range of your ankles. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Begin to bend through that left leg, and on your next exhale, fold. Hands or no hands, pyramid pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Level up through your hips, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus, open up through the arms as you bend through that right leg to straighten out the left. Focus on your balance. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Hands at heart center as you shift your weight forward, bypassing through warrior 3 into one-legged Tadasana, right knee into the chest. Lower your right foot down to meet the left. Awesome, awesome work. Take 3 breaths here before we finish off our final round together. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, inhale, one-legged Tadasana, left knee into the chest. Exhale, push everything out. Inhale, draw it back in. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Anjaneyasana, sweep your arms up high towards the sky. Exhale, fold, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale to bend through your right leg, and on your next exhale, fold, pyramid pose. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus, open up through the arms as you straighten out that right leg. Maybe you come up onto your heels. Bend through that right leg as you make your way back into high crescent lunge. Hands meet at heart center as you shift your weight forward just to bypass through warrior three into one-legged Tadasana. Lower your left foot down to meet the right. Inhale, last round, right knee into the chest. Exhale, kick everything out. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Right foot finds a home at the very back of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Challenge the range of that left ankle. Exhale, fold, Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale to bend through that left leg, and on your next exhale, fold, pyramid pose. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale to cactus, open up through the arms. As you straighten out that left leg, bend that right leg. Maybe come up onto the left heel. Bend through that left leg, reach your arms up, high crescent lunge. Hands meet at heart center, bypassing through warrior three into one-legged Tadasana, right knee into the chest. Lower your right foot down to meet the left. Beautiful, beautiful work. Go ahead and I want you to just roll your hips around, making sure this movement is coming from your hips and not your whole body moving with your hips. I know this could be challenging. Awesome, awesome work. We're going to add one bit of activation here into the active Hanumanasana, active splits. So we're going to start with our right foot forward. Step your left foot to the very back of the mat. And I want you to find the longest possible lunge that you're most comfortable with. You could even use the blocks to help support you. But we're going to hold this active splits for 7 breaths. So you can even rise up, but I want you to scissor in the inner thighs towards each other. Try to level off through the hips. Or if you want to challenge yourself even more, take your arms into airplane arms and then come up onto that right heel. Keep pulling your right toes towards your face. 7 breaths here. Engaging your glutes. I know this is challenging. Focus on your drishti, focus on your balance. One last breath. Go ahead and release. Beautiful work. Step your left foot forward. Go ahead and shake out the ludi. This is tough work, but this is a reminder that you can do hard stuff. Step your right foot back and find that really long lunge. Focus on leveling up the hips. You don't want one hip to hike up over the other. Try to avoid that Tendenenberg hip. And then really try to scissor in the inner thighs towards each other. You could use the blocks, of course, to help you. Or if you want an extra challenge, come onto that left heel, driving the left toes towards your face. Use your arms for the counterbalance. Focus your gaze. We're here for 7 breaths. One last breath here. You've got this. Stick with it. And bend through that left leg just to meet your right. Awesome work. From here, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold. How good does that feel? Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot to the very back of your mat. And come into this double bent leg, Anjaneyasana. From here, I want you to focus on creating these warrior 2 hips by opening up the hip, challenging the range of motion from your hips. We'll do this for 3, 2, on 1. Awesome work. Now, try to almost come as if you are entering your Hanumanasana, but we're going to focus on opening up through this left heel. So maybe you wiggle yourself into it, And I want you to open up through that left heel so that your hips open up towards the left side of the mat. You could come onto the blocks to help you provide that lift, but we're going to do this for 4, 3, 2, on 1. Beautiful work. Return to center. For your first Hanumanasana, you can use the blocks to help support you, and know that all of our Hanumanasanas are going to look different. There isn't a certain type of aesthetic that's going to look the same. What matters is how this feels on your body. So when you're coming into Hanumanasana from Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits, it really helps to shimmy your way there by moving that left ankle back and forward. Now just notice how that feels. You can always use the blocks to help support you, or take one of the blocks and place it underneath your right hamstring just to elevate your pelvis higher, okay? But I want you to scissor in the inner thighs towards each other. And breathe in the movement, because breathing in our asanas is a way of signaling to our brain that this movement is safe. So it's really important to breathe, because if you lose the breath, you lose the yoga. And just notice how this first Hanumanasana feels. Then whenever you're ready, come out of it, dragging that right heel towards your face. Awesome. Now, we're going to incorporate our vision drills in our Hanumanasana. And what's really important when it comes to these neuromechanic drills is to first test out our movement of desire, which was that first Hanumanasana. You know, taking in, observing how that felt on your physical body and in your mind. And then our sensory stimuli is going to be those vision drills. Then we're going to retest that Hanumanasana after we apply the sensory input, which are those vision drills. So, first, I want you to take your index finger on your right hand, place it in the space that traces your chin to your collarbones and your sternum. We want your head to be completely still and allow these movements to come from the eyes. We're going to first start off with an isometric hold with the eyeballs looking towards the left. So take your left thumb in front of you, making sure that that both of your eyes can see that left thumb. Then I want you to bring that left thumb towards the left side. You can check whether both eyes can see that left thumb clearly by blinking your left eye shut and your right eye shut. And then opening up your eyes, make sure that you could see that left thumb clear. Letting this movement come from this hold from the eyes. Hold your gaze. Breathe here. Then bring that left thumb back to center and just close your eyes for a moment just to give yourself a break. Then open your eyes. Take your index finger and place it between your chin and your sternum just to make sure that your head doesn't move with your eyes. These isometric holds of the eyeballs are really important because having our eyes look to the left activates the same area in your brain that facilitates right side flexion and left side extension. So in this Hanumanasana, it's our right hip going into flexion and our left hip going into extension. So we're going to add a progression here. Bring your index finger to just keep your head still as you bring that left thumb over to the left. Now I want you to move the left thumb up, making sure both eyes can see that left thumb clearly. Then move it down, 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 down. Move it up, move it down. Keeping your eyes towards the left, seeing that left thumb clearly. Go at your own pace here. Go slow, you can go fast. Then bring it back to center. Lower your left arm down. Close your eyes just to give yourself a break and a rest. Now we're going to retest our Hanumanasana. Please keep in mind that all Hanumanasanas are going to look and feel different on the body. If you want, you could always place a block underneath your right hamstring to help support you. So from Ardha Hanumanasana, come into your full Hanumanasana. And just notice if this feels any different. From your first Hanumanasana, make sure that you could breathe into the shape. Scissoring the inner thighs towards each other. You could point the feet or flex the feet. It's totally your choice. Just make sure you could breathe here. I certainly noticed a difference in this Hanumanasana after applying those vision and visual drills. And maybe you don't notice the difference because these drills affect each and every single one of us differently. But it's important to note whether this drill worked out for you or whether it didn't. And that's totally fine. That's great. Now you know. Then on your next breath out, slowly come out of it. Beautiful. This time we're going to step our left foot forward. And we're going to focus on opening up this left hip first in this modified Anjaneyasana. So imagine as if this hip wants to come into Warrior Two. Beautiful. Then shimmy your way forward into a modified Hanumanasana. We're going to focus on opening up through that right ankle. So use the blocks to help you in this movement. And make sure that you could breathe here, just to signal to your brain that this movement is safe for your body. And then I want you to just open up, come onto the outer blades or the inner blades of that right foot, then come into your Hanumanasana. Letting this movement come from the right ankle's mobility. We've got 3, 2, on 1. Return back to center into that Anjaneyasana. Now we are going to test out our Hanumanasana with the left leg forward and the right leg back. Again, use the blocks to help support you in your journey. And there's no point in pushing yourself into these shapes if your body isn't available to it yet, and that's totally fine. So come into your Hanumanasana. You can use the blocks to support you, or you could use the block underneath your left hamstring this time. And I want you to focus on breathing here. It's always really important, again, to maintain this connection to your breath because, again, if you lose the breath, you lose the yoga. And we're also just reminding our brain that this movement is safe for us. Because our brain's only focus is our survival. It doesn't care if we're happy, if we're sad. It only cares about our survival. So it's really important to note that. So just be exploratory in your Hanumanasana. And then slowly come out of it whenever you're ready. And now, after we notice how that feels, and certainly my left side Hanumanasana is definitely my weaker side. And it's nothing to do with the mobility of the left hip, but rather the ability for this right hip to go into extension. Oftentimes in Hanumanasana, it's not necessarily the front leg, it's the back leg that needs the work. Coming into our vision drills, this time I want you to take the index finger of your left hand and bridge your chin and your sternum and your collarbones to keep the head completely still. Take your right thumb in front of you. Make sure that both eyes can see that right thumb clearly. Now bring that right thumb to the right side of the room. Test if your eyes can see that right thumb. Maybe you close the left eye, And you close the right eye just to check. Then open the eyes. Focus your gaze on the right side, making sure the eyeballs are really holding into the right side of the sockets. Breathe. Now bring it back to center. Lower your right arm down just to give yourself a little break, a little reset. Now, adding our progressions to these vision drills, bring your right thumb in front of you. Take your left index finger just to keep your head in place. Bring the right thumb over towards the right. Now, I want you to bring the right thumb up and down, making sure your eyes are focused on that right thumb and your eyes can see that thumb moving. Focus on your eyes, focus on that right thumb. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Lower your right arm down. Now, this isometric hold of the eyeballs towards the right and having our eyes move up and down following the thumb is going to activate the same area in the brain that's going to allow for left side body flexion and right side body extension. So now I want you to slowly arrive into your Hanumanasana and just notice if you feel a difference. I certainly feel a difference. Make sure that you could breathe. You could always place a block underneath your left hamstring. But just notice if there's any kind of difference that you notice in terms of the availability of your Hanumanasana, whatever it feels like. Just breathe here, focus on your breath. Now, whenever you're ready, slowly come out of it. Take a moment to just close your eyes and just process your journey. It's amazing what eye mobility can do for the body because your eyes are the windows to your nervous system. They are the only visible part of your brain. And allowing your eyes to move freely in the socket can set your global flexor and extensor tone in very profound ways. And a lot of the times, given our modern lifestyles, our eyes are constantly fixated forward and indoors, looking at our computer screen, looking at our phones or our iPads or our digital tablets, that we lose this eye mobility and letting the eyes move to the side, up, and down. And we need to let our eyes be able to move freely in its socket because like every tissue in the body, if you don't use it, you lose it. So come into a downward facing dog. And just notice how your hips feel in your downward facing dog. And we're going to come into a pigeon pose. Reach your right leg up high towards the sky. Bend your right leg. As soon as your shoulders come over your wrists, I want you to play with this right hip going into external rotation. So keep teetering between internal and external. And then kick it forward into external rotation. Use your left foot to help position you in your pigeon pose. Of course, you could use a blanket or a towel. Place it underneath your right hamstrings. And just come upright into your pigeon, really drawing in the left knee towards your hips and pushing down on that right shin. Inhale. And on your exhale, fold over your right shin. Take a moment here. Breathe. Feel the sensation in that outer right hip. Beautiful. To come out of it, plant your palms down, tuck your left toes underneath you. Right foot meets left downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg reaches up high towards the sky. Bend your left leg. As you roll forward, shoulders over wrist, play around with that external rotation, almost as if you're kicking a hacky sack with that left hip. This is a really great way to arrive in pigeon pose. Using your right toes to help support you to move you forward or back. Feel free to take a block underneath your left leg or a blanket to help support you. We're going to hold this upright pigeon for just a breath here. So really push down through that left shin. Sweep that right knee towards your hips. And on your exhale, fold over that left shin. Find your pigeon pose. Slow your breath down. Slow your energy down. Beautiful. To come out of it, tuck all right toes behind you. Plant both palms down. Step back into your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lower your knees onto the earth and make your way into a seated position. You could take the block to elevate your pelvis up higher. You could sit in a sukhasana, any seat that's going to provide a comfortable seat for our closing meditation. Close your eyes, and I invite you to process your journey from where you were to where you are now. Your hands can take any mudra you wish. And your practice for today is dedicated and in honor of the great God, Lord Hanuman, a God who takes the shape of a monkey, the greatest of heroes, the greatest of devotees to his Lord Rama, the 11th greatest and last incarnation of Lord Shiva. Lord Hanuman is the God of courage and strength. So we will close off our practice by chanting the Moola Mantra of Hanuman for 9 times until that mantra disappears into a whisper. Take an inhale to prepare. Om Shree Hanumate Namah. 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 Take a slow inhale through your nose, and on our exhale, we will chant Om, the primordial sound of the universe, to close off our practice. Take an inhale. Om. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that you have had a profound experience in honoring Lord Hanuman into your practice and into your life. Know that you could always turn to this Moola mantra to invoke Hanuman whenever you need the courage and strength to overcome the obstacles of your daily lives. I hope that this flow has helped you, and I hope that the vision drills have helped you as well. Please let me know your experience in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for your practice. I honor you in all of your efforts. Thank you for being part of the community.